Alright, so I made like a 10-minute tutorial on how to get this stuff out. I'm working on a 1966 Ford Fairlane right now. Sorry about the lighting in advance. The sun's poking right at the screen and this car won't move anymore. Nothing I can do about that. So, what you want to do to be able to get all these components out: the dash cover, the gauges, steering wheel, and the glove box, is that first you're going to want to take 9 Phillips head screws off of the gauges. That's the first step. Now there are, right here there's a hole, 2, you'll be able to see them too. There should be 5 on top and 4 on the bottom if I'm not mistaken. A couple of these are holes for bolts. Those bolts are not for the gauges, those are for the levers right here. And just so you know, no one ever told me this, but there's a way to get these levers off instead of having to navigate them all out, where you can push them back. Underneath, there's a little tiny hole, and it's a little itty bitty Allen wrench that'll pull those off for you. And then you can push them back if you're trying to paint this or anything. Really helpful if I had known that beforehand. Anyway, radio pushes back too. We don't want that. And so those 9 bolts come out, and then in theory it should start pushing out once those 9 are out. That's all that really holds it on. However, typically you have to go behind it and wiggle it out. It's an ordeal. Anyway, but you're also going to want more room to work, so you're going to want to drop this steering wheel a couple of inches. It should be all the way up, and now it's down. You'll pull that out with 2 bolts that should be on that bracket right there. They go on those bolts, and there's a couple nuts. This size, I believe they were 1/2 inch, something along those lines. And then once you get those out, this will drop, and this should pop out. That's all that's holding it, is those 9. Yours might be more stuck. Mine was. Took a bit of time to get it out. Anyway, once it's popped out a little bit, there'll still be some stuff holding it in, and one of those is the speedometer cable, which goes to the center, and it looks like this speedometer cable right here. It is just a thread. That's all it is. You can do it by hand, but I went underneath to be able to get that speedometer cable out. You might be able to get it in through the top, but I have thin arms. I'm not a strong guy, and I still couldn't get it out from there. So underneath, use safety goggles because it's an old car. Dust falls in your eye all the time. And then once that's out, you're going to want to hold it, because otherwise the gauges will come out really far and it can get scratched on this middle post. Mine actually did get scratched a little bit. Not proud of that. Just wasn't thinking about it properly, but now you guys could know. And then all that will be holding it in at that point are wires and bulbs. There's this right here, which was in there, and this harness right now. You can disconnect the harness only and then pull it out with all the bulbs, but I didn't want the bulbs because I already have them in another car. So I just pulled them out one by one. And then there's a couple other wires that are just stray around holding it in. They all just pull right out. And that's all there is to it, guys, to pulling the gauges out. And then if you want to pull the glove box out, it's only a series of 6 screws, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, and 1 on either side. And then there will also be this, looks like this is the glove box right here. This has a light right here. And there's a connector right here that goes through a hole on the top right here. And you'll just disconnect that, pull it out, and then this glove box can just slide right out. And then you can, once the glove box is out, if you need to take off the dash cover as well, you will need to take that out. What you'll do is there's a series of bolts coming in through the top. I can't really see them anymore because it's gone. But there'll be, it'll probably go better from the top. There will be one here, another one here, third one, a fourth one, fifth one, and a sixth one. However, there's also some bolts holding in radio stuff here and your defroster piece right here. I took those out so that I had a lot more working room. There's also a bar. Where's the bar? Where's the bar? Anyway, it's just a straight metal bar. It goes from here to there. And once you pull that out, you can pull out the speaker if you need to much more easily, which I don't need it. It's shot. And you can also pull out that vent so you have more working room. But that's not the only bolts that hold in the dash top. There are some on the front as well. Those 9 screws that hold in your gauges, those hold in the dash cover as well. And the only other things that should hold it on are 4 screws on the front near the glove box, just above it. One right there, and 2, 3, and 4. Once that is out, it typically doesn't come right off because it's held in with adhesive. And so the trick to getting it out is to go in with a hammer or even a rubber mallet. And there's those bolts, right? And you just lightly tap each one of them until it has a bit of give to it, where the dashboard will actually pop up just a tiny bit. And then you can start moving your hand underneath it and start creeping it in like a wedge and pulling the dashboard apart from the adhesive. And yeah, that'll pull your dashboard out. It'll be out of place, and then because the windshield on a 66 Fairlane goes inward to be a bit more narrow, you can't pull it out towards the top, so you have to keep it really low and then pull it out to one side and then let it proceed. And then that'll be out. And oh, if you need to get the steering wheel out, there's a video on that online, but really simple. You just push on the horn really firm, and then you turn it counterclockwise. Some of them are clockwise, but the ones that I have are both counterclockwise. And then the horn will pop off, and then the steering wheel will still be there. That'll be held on by a very large nut that I have somewhere else. And you'll hold the steering wheel really firm. I was able to, and I mean, I'm not even that strong, and I could do it. And then you just get a really large breaker bar or anything strong enough to do it, and pull the nut off. And you twist it off, and the steering wheel should pop off with a spring. And then that's out. I mean, that's it, guys. Nothing else I can think of to say about that. That's the summary of the project. Everything you need to know about pulling this out. Hope that helps.